For years, I thought that a morning routine had to be this big thing, it had to be perfect, and if it wasn't perfect, I would just skip it. But the truth is, I just had to give myself permission to let it look a little bit different. And so what I did was really simplify it. And it's just 3 parts, and it can fit into any amount of time that I have and that you'd have. So if you'd like to hear about it, jump in. Hi, I'm Jane, and this channel, Living Simply After 60, is about how I'm creating a more intentional and simple and more meaningful life in my 60s and beyond. I don't want to end up at the end of my life thinking, oh, I should have, could have, would have done stuff. I want to create intentionally the life that I want. So if that sounds like something you're interested into, then come along with me for the ride. First, let's talk about mindfulness. Now, mindfulness, you might think, is meditation. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. Mindfulness could just be sitting down and paying attention to your breathing. Mindfulness could be listening to a guided meditation. Mindfulness could even be staring out the window at nature or going out in nature. It's just a little bit of time where you give yourself a break, a mental break. You just pay attention and be in the moment. Sometimes for me, mindfulness could be even at a beach, staring at the ocean. It could be sitting on my meditation cushion. It could be focusing on my heart and loving feelings. All right, so that's the first part, mindfulness. Now let's talk about the second part, movement. So we want to do some kind of movement early in the morning, and it doesn't have to be exercise, go to the gym, although it can be. But I want to make this really achievable for you and for me. And so for me, it can look like yoga. And it could be a 20-minute or 30-minute or 60-minute yoga routine, or it could be a couple of minutes of doing yoga. Or Qigong has become a real favorite of mine lately. If you're really pressed for time or space, you could even just swing in one spot. Or you could do jumping jacks, or you could do squats, or running on the spot. Or you could be balancing on one foot. It really doesn't matter. You just do something involving movement. All right, we've talked about mindfulness, we've talked about movement. Now let's move on to mindset. Now, what is mindset all about? To me, the mindset part of the morning routine is about shifting your mind and setting you up for loving yourself for the day, setting yourself up for curiosity and anticipation for a good day ahead. So this could be journaling. Sometimes I will journal and write a kind message to myself. Or I will journal on what I'm grateful for, or what I'm excited about today, what I'm looking forward to today, or what my ideal day ahead looks like. So there's lots of different ways you can journal and really set your mind up for a positive day ahead. Another thing I like to do is read out loud my affirmations. I love affirmations. And when you repeat affirmations, starting with the words I am and something positive that you want afterwards, then that sends a message to your subconscious mind and can reprogram your subconscious mind for more positive thoughts. And the more you do this and the more you repeat them, these can then become sort of like the running narrative in your brain. You change your thoughts, you can change your life, as the great Wayne Dyer said. Another thing I like to do is look in the mirror and say affirmations or speak to myself kindly. I know it sounds a little strange, but when you can look in the mirror and say, I love you, you are kind, you are a good person, or I am kind, I am a good person, it shifts things. There's something about looking at your own eyes in a mirror that is very powerful. It might even be hard for you to do in the beginning, but you can give it a try. But whatever I've said here, what we're trying to do is just create a positive frame of mind to set us up for the day ahead, because how you start your day affects the rest of your day. So you can choose whatever works for you. Choose something that's going to help shift you into a positive state as you begin your day. Now, the reason why we want to do all of this is we want to start off our day with our stress levels low. We don't want to start off our day with our bucket full. So if we can bring our stress levels down, and all these things, mindfulness, movement, mindset, these all help lower stress in the body and in the mind. And when we can lower stress, then we are setting ourselves up for a better day because our bucket is already not full. We've lowered our bucket, and so we've got more capacity and more resilience. So however much time you have, just split it 3 ways. And it doesn't have to be the same every day. It can change. But what I really love about this 3-part morning routine, I call it my 3M routine because it's the 3Ms, mindfulness, movement, mindset, is that my brain never puts up resistance, because no matter what, you've always got 3 minutes. Who could say they don't have 3 minutes to spare? So you can even do like these 3 minutes while you're waiting for the kettle to boil or your coffee to perk, whatever it is you're doing. You could just sit down or even stand up. You don't even have to be sitting. So how does my routine look on a normal day? When I'm at home and I'm not rushed, don't have to be anywhere in the morning, my routine looks like this. I will start off with some mindfulness. I have some singing bowls, as you saw, and I love to play the singing bowls. And then I'll set a timer to do 20 minutes of meditation. What do I call meditation? It's when I sit there with my eyes closed, sometimes open though, and if my thoughts stray, I just try to bring them back to the breath, focus on my body, so that I'm giving my mind a little bit of a break. The next part of my usual routine when I'm home is Qigong. I love Qigong. I will put on a YouTube video of a Qigong practitioner that I like, and we'll do a short routine, usually 15 to 20 minutes. I've done a lot of different things for my mindfulness practice, but what I've been doing lately is journaling. And I start off usually with some affirmations, about 5 or so statements, starting with I am. The first one is always, I am the architect of my life. I build its foundation and choose its contents. I am an example of what's possible. I am healthy and strong. I am full of vitality and energy, and so on, whatever comes into my mind that day. And then I ask myself these 5 questions and I write down the answer. The first question is, what am I grateful for? So I'll just list some things that I'm grateful for. The second question is, what's going well? So it's just giving my brain the opportunity to recognize what's going well in my life. Third one is, what do I need to let go of? Maybe there's things in my life that I'm doing that are holding me back a little bit, or thoughts that I'm thinking. So it just gives me a little moment to think about that. The fourth question is, what does my ideal day ahead look like? So I'll write a little bit about that. And the fifth question kind of makes me weep a little bit, but it's, what do I need to hear at the end? And when I say the end, I'm talking about the end of my life. What would I want to hear? And this really helps me come back to what is important in my life, because that's what I want to have more of. Now, on busy days or when I'm traveling, it might look a little bit different. I might just do 5 minutes or a minute of just sitting down, or it could be 3 breaths, focusing on 3 breaths. Like, that's how small it can get. And then I might just do like a few jumping jacks or some simple movements. And then I might just recite some affirmations in my head. But you can see I can always do this 3-part morning routine, my 3M routine. So now I invite you to have a morning routine. What do you think of this 3M morning routine? Could you give it a try? What would you choose for mindfulness? What would you choose for movement and mindset? And then what kind of time frame? Just start really small, because if you start small, You know that you can do this. You'll feel like you've accomplished something that will activate the reward centers in your brain, and you're going to be more likely to keep it up and do it again. All right, let me know in the comments what you think of this 3-part morning routine. I'd love to hear and I'd love to answer you. And if you have any questions, put those there as well. And I really love to have a little community here of people, women over 60, who are just interested in living a more simple, more abundant, and more meaningful life as we go on to this next chapter. And I am doing this as part of my Living Simply After 60. I've created a Simple Life Blueprint. If you'd like to download that for free, I'll include a link in the comments below. And this one is all about simple tending, tending to ourselves. And that morning routine to me is absolutely critical in attending and tending to myself. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.